Welcome to Hidden History. We're thrilled to have you here with us on this journey of exploration and discovery. This is a place where we delve into the unseen, the forgotten, the overlooked, those pockets of time that went unnoticed in the grand scale of human history. Like and subscribe for even more overlooked events in history that you won't find anywhere else. Have some hidden history you'd like for us to look into and share? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's get to it. As the spectre of war started to cast its grim shadow across Europe, the Italian peninsula became the unsuspecting subject of British reconnaissance missions. Months before Italy declared its allegiance with Germany, British forces were already engaged in a game of shadows, covertly mapping the terrain of their potential future adversary. The peaceful summer of 1940 was about to be violently disrupted. The city of Milan, a beacon of cultural magnificence, became a strategic jewel on the military chessboard. Revered for its industrial might and tactically positioned within the famed industrial triangle, comprising Turin and Genoa, Milan caught the attention of British strategic intelligence. As Italy's industrial heart, the city's importance could not be overstated. Because of its tactical and industrial importance, British operatives found themselves staring at detailed maps, attempting to understand the industrial veins of Italy's economic powerhouse. As the home of manufacturing titans such as Alfa Romeo, Magneti Marelli and Pirelli, along with an intricate web of 21 railway lines and busy freight yards, Milan's role as the vital lifeline in Italy's industrial machinery was undeniable. However, beneath this industrial behemoth's facade, there was vulnerability. Reports pieced together amidst the conflict revealed the city's vulnerable underbelly. Divided into concentric circles, the city's historic centre emerged as the proverbial Achilles heel. The labyrinth of narrow streets and densely clustered buildings would prove a chilling prospect of potential devastation by aerial bombardment. Yet Milan was anything but a city in despair. The city's resilience was fortified with bricks and cement at its city centre. It was prepared to stand its ground in the face of forthcoming air raids. As the conflict unfolded, initial bombing campaigns aimed to afflict Milan's civilian populace and pressure the government into seeking an armistice. However, as the war's currents shifted, the Allied crosshairs turned to factories and war production that was now fueling the insatiable Italian war machine. Milan, against all odds, remained pivotal yet defiant amidst the chaos. Milan's defences would seek to withstand and survive the looming aerial onslaught, both on its civilian and industrial centres. The city at this point was underlined by a network of defences initially borne by the 5th Legion, famously known as La Viscontea, of the Dicat, the territorial anti-aircraft defence militia. This formidable assembly of nearly 9,000 men were placed throughout the city and its surrounding territories with a stern resolve to resist any Allied attempt to breach the city's airspace. The quiet streets of Milan trembled under the roar of engines as the first bombs fell on the night of June 15, 1940, just 5 days after Italy's entry into the war. The early raids of 1940 were marked by a flurry of airstrikes targeting key industrial hubs in an attempt to subdue industrial production to a halt. Yet, despite their strategic objectives, the initial assaults yielded little damage and few casualties. As summer waned, the skies over Milan darkened once more. August brought renewed onslaughts as bombers descended upon the city with deadly intent. The Caproni aircraft manufacturing plant, one of the symbols of Milan's industrial prowess, found itself under threat. Though the plant itself narrowly escaped destruction, the surrounding streets bore the scars of war, with lives lost and buildings shattered. December brought one final blow to 1940. The Pirelli plant, an icon of Milan's industrial landscape, became the focal point of a bombing raid. Though the intended target remained unscathed, 8 people lost their lives, with 16 being wounded in the onslaught. As 1941 dawned, a brief respite descended upon Milan. The skies, once filled with the ominous hum of aircraft engines, fell silent. But the calm was fleeting. The autumn of 1942 heralded a return to the tumult of aerial warfare, as Milan braced itself for the next chapter in its harrowing ordeal as the campaign intensified. On October 24th, 73 Avro Lancasters descended upon Milan, dropping 135 tons of bombs, including a staggering 30,000 incendiaries. The city's streets were ablaze with buildings shattered and lives lost in the chaos. Despite the onslaught, Milan's resilience stood firm. Its wide streets and minimal use of wood in construction mitigated the effectiveness of the incendiary bombs, sparing the city from even greater destruction. Yet, the raids persisted. Enter 1943. As the intensity of the conflict escalated, the cracks in the Dickert's armour became apparent. Reinforcements in the form of the Luftwaffe and German flak artillery units were ushered in, deployed alongside their Italian counterparts to fortify the city's aerial defences. In addition to Milan's ground-based defences, the Italian Royal Air Force stationed fighters at key airports such as Venegono and Lonati Pozzolo, equipped with aircraft such as the Macchi C-202 and Fiat CR-42, supplemented by Messerschmitt Bf 109S from the Luftwaffe. Italian pilots stood ready to take flight at a moment's notice, engaging enemy aircraft in aerial combat. Even in the face of adversity, Allied forces would unleash renewed terror to the skies over Milan in February of that year as 142 Lancasters unleashed their deadly payload onto the city. Several factories were damaged, including Alfa Romeo, Caproni, Isotta Fraschini and Breda. The Milano Centrale railway station and the Farini marshalling yard were also hit. Factories crumbled, residential areas burned, and historic landmarks bore the scars of war. The toll on human life was severe, with casualties mounting in the thousands and over 250,000 left homeless in the wake of the devastation. But the worst was yet to come. In August 1943, following the fall and arrest of Italian dictator Benito Mussolini, Allied forces decided to begin a series of heavy bombings on Italian cities. The hope would be to persuade newly installed Prime Minister Pietro Badoglio and the Italian government to surrender. As the tide of war shifted, Milan faced its darkest hour. A relentless barrage of bombs rained down upon the city, reducing vast swathes of its centre to smouldering ruins. Landmarks like the Sforza Castle and the Royal Palace bore the brunt of the assault, while the death toll soared into the hundreds. As the Allied bombers roared in the skies over Milan, the Milanese population sought refuge from their last line of defence. The National Anti-Air Protection Union, UNPA, and the city's building captains. These guardians of safety worked tirelessly to protect the city's civilian population, managing air raid shelters and overseeing the blackout of buildings to evade nighttime detection by enemy aircraft. Yet, despite their efforts, the potential for devastation was unequivocal. Following the tumultuous events of the summer of 1943 and the signing of the armistice at Cassibile, Italy's unconditional surrender, a temporary respite descended upon Milan's war-torn skies. However, as a result of Italy exiting the war, Germany rushed to maintain whatever territory it could from Italian resistance forces loyal to the king. This included Milan as well as all Italian territories north of Rome. This, along with the unfolding events of the Italian campaign in the spring of 1944, began a new chapter of devastation. As air raid sirens split the night, piercing the relative peace, the city's populace were forced to confront the stark reality of their existence. Seeking refuge in basement shelters or shared bunkers, the citizens of Milan found themselves at the mercy of the Allies' aerial prowess. This time it was the United States Army Air Force by day and the Royal Air Force Mediterranean Allied forces by night who took up the mantle of aerial bombardment over northern Italy. Their targets, the vital marshalling yards and factories that sustained the war effort. After October 20, 1944, Milan was spared from further bombing raids. However, the skies above the city were far from peaceful. Throughout the autumn of 1944, the ensuing winter, and into the spring of 1945, countless minor air attacks persisted. Fighter bombers and light bombers relentlessly targeted trains, vehicles, and various modes of transport, seizing upon any opportunity to disrupt enemy movements and remaining infrastructure. Amid this turmoil, however, the city and its people remained resilient. Finally, on May 8th, in that spring of 1945, Germany surrendered and its hold on Milan was over. Milan, Italy's bustling industrial heart, bore the brunt of relentless air raids in the Italian theatre during the crucible of World War II. Targeted and bombed more than any Italian city for its strategic significance, it became a critical battleground for the Allied forces in its quest to rid the world from fascist influence. Yet amidst the destruction, Milan emerged from the ashes, a testament to resilience and determination. While scars of war still linger in its streets, the spirit of this resilient city endures, a living tribute to those who endured the darkest days of history under an oppressive regime. There you have it. If you enjoyed this episode and want to continue this journey with us, then you can show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It takes just a second, but it means the world to us. Your support helps us create more content and helps us reach more history enthusiasts like you. Till next time when we explore even more hidden history.